where do you fit in the world? Examine the engine of a vehicle. Consider the vehicle you entered outside. If you lift your car's hood and examine the engine, God gives you a revelation. For years, some of you have been missing it. There are thousands of parts in the car. Additionally, each component is distinct from the others. Spark plugs are not carburetors, and batteries are not spark plugs. A generator is not a piston, and a carburetor is not a generator. A valve is not the oil pan, and a piston is not a valve. The filter is not a steering wheel, and the oil pan is not a filter. The shift is not the ignition, and the steering wheel is not the shift. I mean, everything has changed. The battery is now just that, a battery. He is therefore in charge of the battery division. He was made to batter, so stay with me. His role is to. When the terminals require power, it is stored and released. The battery is responsible for that. He is therefore in charge of the electricity division. As I mentioned earlier, he is the leader in his mission. Nobody else was a battery. He is in charge of the battery division. When you finally find your identity, you become a leader. What if you never find your purpose and identity? You are not and never will be a leader. You constantly attempt to monitor the engine's other components. And your attempt to be like that is getting in the way of them. That is the world's problem. That is the issue of the church. And that is the world's dilemma. Individuals are unaware of their identity. They are therefore attempting to pass for someone else. The battery is a leader in the battery department and a battery. A small wire known as the terminal is attached to him. The blue one and the red one, why? Additionally, they are distinct elements produced by the producer for a particular use. Furthermore, they are not meant to be batteries. They are only there to transfer power. It's possible that some of you are not batteries. You are merely a terminal, you do not possess the power. You only connect and transfer people. You are nothing more than a connector. You simply bring people together. Randy makes connections, you stop it. You leave it to yourself, and you link others. A termination wire in Andrew's hand. He was in charge of the connection division. Andrew was made to help individuals connect and make a link each time you drive one. Check the Bible, he said to Andrew. When Jesus was visited by a Syrophoenician woman, I will connect you, she said to Andrew. I made a connection between them after realizing that Jesus treats women like you see. Andrew manned Jesus while Peter was fishing. Andrew approached Peter. Let me connect you, Peter, and he introduced. Peter went to Jesus and stayed out of it. And I'm Peter, who was born as an apostle to Jesus, and according to Andrew, there isn't a single book in the Bible titled the Gospel. But without Andrew, Peter wouldn't exist. Give someone a hand clap. He was a leader. All of the engine's parts are now leaders. Look at things you should know. You mentioned that everyone can be illiterate, but do you know how it works? Who can leave who will be given to you? It demonstrates that your viewpoint has. The world has corrupted me so much that you think everyone should be a tailpipe. Each individual. God constructed this room to rule over his sphere of influence. You're a leader. It couldn't be covered like a carburetor. No one was able to ignite like a spark plug. No one could produce as well as a generator. Which explains why there are so few leaders here now. Because those in charge of you won't let you find your identity. Because the leader may realize that you're a battery all of a sudden. Furthermore, he is merely a terminal wire. John the Baptist's appearance was nothing unusual. And he was viewed as a battery by all. So, are you a prophet? They asked. Are you the Messiah? Elijah, are you? Do they call him? I appreciate John because he realized who he wasn't among all these well-known people. He was aware of who he wasn't, I said. Come, let's read it. The explanation for your failure to not yet realized your leadership potential. You're attempting to be someone else. And your identity is hardwired. First, let's examine John 1 verse 19. This was John's account when Jerusalem's Jews sent Levites and priests to emphasize his identity. Telling your neighbors who you are is the crucial question. The issue is that they never tell you who you are. Everyone is attempting to identify you. Can I make you a suggestion now? Put this in writing. If you're unsure of your identity, they will tell you that it is crucial that you learn about yourself. Since everyone has an opinion about you. Furthermore, it has nothing to do with your identity. Who are you, may I ask? Verse 20. He freely confessed rather than failing to do so. What? Christ is not me. John now starts by responding to the question. By revealing to you who he is not, who are you? I'll explain why. It's really important that some of you, I don't know who you are. You print your small profit business card. Who told you to hire a prophet, so and so? There are numerous pastors, evangelists, bishops, and others. God never calls those who are illegitimate. Let me explain why his response is so excellent. You see the minute, sir, therefore I'm not. You are aware of your identity. You cannot be forced to make that action by others. Some of you have turned into the very things you shouldn't be. Because you were informed by someone you respected. You were that person. And you're frustrated by what you're doing, which you detest. And it's devoid of delight. Some of you are even employed in the ministry. And you detest the chore. You must preach to these stiff-necked folks because you detest Sunday more than anything else. You always don't enjoy studying for a sermon. Since you find it difficult, why? You're not chilly. However, a prophet came along and deceived you. If you don't know who you are, pay close attention to what I have to say. Many people are willing to share this information with you. Let's be clear from a distance that I am not the Christ, as John claims. Then who are you, they ask. After that, they will share their thoughts about the Mack truck. Elijah, are you? Let's now be sincere pals. Come on, give it some thought if someone told you that. Consider you, but they asked if you reminded them of Elijah. You're absolutely correct. Yes, I do have this little life. Yes. Yes, call the newspapers. I'm sure that some of you would like that, Elijah. You currently have a few hundred followers. And you believe that you are the great man of the hour for God. Indeed, it's only 1 hour. Are you Elijah, John? I adore using you on said sister because you remind me of Elijah. Thank you, Catherine Coleman, and you stay. And they were wearing a long white dress when you next saw them. The head brother, you remind me of the miracle of the 20 cards. Meanings raise the awareness that Alan is back. You cannot identify who you are not if you do not know who you are. For you to take on a leadership role, you have to find out what his life's mission is. And until you accomplish it, you will never be satisfied. Do you know why? Strokes are killing a lot of leaders. Despair, burnout, and high blood pressure. Let me explain. Since the majority of those in leadership are not leaders in their respective roles, people's expectations have put them there. Tremendous pressure, and they now need to maintain their image. That it's killing them and that they're not. Instead of performing live, they got to perform. A lot of preachers perform on Sunday mornings, deceiving the public. Additionally, the public opposes their shift, as they adore the program.